Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
Welcome into the Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Maurice Patton, alongside Wade Neely, as Chris Yao is once again, or still, I guess, on vacation, and seems to be enjoying himself from what I can tell from his Twitter feed and the like. So I'm glad he's having a good time down in the Redneck Riviera, as they call it, and we're trying to hold it down up here in Middle Tennessee, bringing you the most timely and informative coverage of sports from preps to pros. Wade, how's your Thursday so far?
Thursday's great, brother. Good to be with you. And Yao is in a perpetual state of vacation, I feel like. But this week especially, he's kind of rubbing in our faces, especially considering it's not exactly pleasant here in southern Middle Tennessee today.
At the moment, no, not at all. Not at all. We just got done with a little rain here outside of the Mobile Lee Company studio here at my place, and it's been looking a little overcast most of the day, and it finally came through. So we'll see what the rest of the afternoon holds for us. But hopefully we can get through the next hour and a half without any weather-related issues impacting our show. How's that?
Yep. I'm feeling you there. And like you and I discussed pre-show, Pulaski's been kind of ominous, but for now, knock on wood, we look okay. I wouldn't just be rushing outside to do any outdoor activities just yet. But for now, it looks like we're all right.
Hold off on that. We got a big show today. We are going to be visiting here in a bit with Tennessee State University men's basketball coach Brian Collins. He's got a big event coming up here this weekend, I believe. And later in the show, we're going to check in with Willie Ramirez, who covers the Las Vegas Aces. Wade, I'm surprised you didn't bring your T-shirt back again today.
I might have to hang it up in the background for that segment. Big game tonight for the ladies.
It is a big game for the odds-on WNBA favorite, I guess, defending champions, as they they've got a big game. We'll get to that here in a second. A lot of happenings last night across the sports world. We'll get into some Braves chatter, as we always do, and other collegiate and professional developments. So let's get you ready for all that. First, let's get you yesterday's scores and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Thursday Rundown brought to you by Titans Flag Football. Have your kids play like the pros this fall season in select locations across Middle Tennessee. Titans Flag Football brings pre-K through 8th graders together to learn football fundamentals and, most importantly, to have fun. Sign up for the fall season now by visiting www.titansflagfootball.com.
Yesterday's results in the Geico High School Baseball National Championship. We mentioned this over the course of the show yesterday. Team Tennessee out in Dallas. They opened play actually on Tuesday with a 6-5 loss to California. During yesterday's show, they fell apart late in a 12-1 6-inning loss to Florida and followed that up with an 8-3 loss to Illinois in pool play. So Team Tennessee, unfortunately, not the best showing out in Texas, and they are done. Major League Baseball action yesterday, as we mentioned, the Braves with a 3-0 win over Minnesota to sweep that series down at Truist Field. The Marlins defeated the Red Sox 6-2. It was the Brewers 5, the Mets 2. Wade's Astros with a Big 10-7 win in St. Louis over the Cardinals. The Phillies with an 8-5 win over Chicago. The Nats defeated the Mariners 4-1. And in minor league baseball action, the Sounds opened their 6-game series over in Memphis with a 12-4 victory.
A couple of WNBA scores last night before we get to tonight's schedule. The Sky 80, Sparks 63, and a big win last night for the Mystics 109-86 over the Dream. Your schedule for today, beginning at 5 o'clock, 5:10 as a matter of fact. The Marlins will take on the Red Sox. Brewers are up in New York at the Mets, also at 6:10. At 6:15, it is those beloved Astros of mine traveling once again to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Phillies are at the Cubs at 7:05. And in minor league baseball, Sounds in Memphis at 7:05. And as we've touched on, and we'll touch on a little bit later, big slate of games in the WNBA tonight. Fever at the Mercury. All these games are at 9 o'clock. That particular contest is on NBA TV. Liberty are at the Aces at 9 p.m. on Prime. And the Lynx are at the Storm. That game can be seen on CBS Sports Network. Light schedule tonight, but a big schedule in a way, so to speak.
And that is your rundown. Top story for today. Actually, we got a couple of them, but they are both brought to you by Piggly Wiggly out at Neely's Mill here in Columbia. Be sure and check out Piggly Wiggly for all of your hand-cut meats and also their Tuesday deli lunch. I'm sorry, their daily deli lunch counter. Hot plates. So check out Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill in Columbia. As we've told you all week, the NHL draft began last night, with round 1 at Bridgestone Arena, and the Predators had a couple of first-round picks. They took at number 15, Matthew Wood, who just played his freshman year at the University of Connecticut, took him at 15 overall, and then at 24, they took defenseman Tanner Molendick, I think is how you pronounce that. Wade, if you got a better idea, jump in. But I think that's roll with it. Okay, yep. We'll roll with it. Wood's an 18-year-old, and he was the number 4 ranked North American skater in the NHL Central Scouting's pre-draft rankings. Again, he played his freshman year at Connecticut this past year. 34 total points, 11 goals, 23 assists in 35 games for the Huskies. 6'4", 197. So, I mean, it sounds like he's kind of pro-ready from a physical standpoint anyway, and we'll see what they do with him and what he does, whether he goes back to Connecticut, as Willie Donick was explaining to us earlier in the week, for another year, or whether he decides to go ahead and jumpstart his professional career. Molendick played in the WHL this past year, had 37 total points with Saskatoon, helping them to the Eastern Conference Final. And I'm not going to pretend to know anything about WHL hockey. So, but again, these are your 2 first-round picks by the Nashville Predators last night. The draft continued with rounds 2 through 7 today, and has gotten into the 7th round. I know, I'm not sure if it's done or not, but the Predators had 13 picks total coming into the draft. I'm not sure how many of those they actually have exercised, but should come away with a nice little haul of additions by the time this is all said and done. So,
yeah, some baby Preds getting picked up last night. And just one little bit I did read late last night about the 2 first-round selections. Wood especially, and kind of like you touched on, Willie told us earlier in the week, don't be surprised if the Preds just maybe go best position, best player overall available at the spot when they end up drafting, wherever that may be, unless it's in the top 4, which they did not make a move up for. So when they select Wood, got a little college seasoning about him. UConn is a decent little program, but not, just an elite program, I don't think. So we'll see how Wood shakes out. But the fact that he's the number 4 ranked North American skater, that to me seems pretty impressive. And then Molendick at the tail end of the first round, just the brief little draft grades that I read, said you can maybe give Wood an A-, and you can maybe give Molendick kind of about a B plus, just because not super flashy, but again, unless you're maybe popping up in the top 5, no need to really get super flashy. So 2 safe quality picks, it seems like, for the Preds. Don't know anything about the WHL, as you kind of alluded to, so I won't pretend to act like I know what I'm talking about there. But some nice young talent to add to a roster that is trying to get younger, trying to get faster. And I guess we'll know in a couple of years just how well this first round went for the Preds.
there, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here. Yeah, thanks for picking things up there just a second. Second top story. The Titans will be without second-year offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere for the first 6 games of the season. It's been suspended by the NFL for violating the league's gambling policy. Apparently did not bet on NFL games, but did bet on other sports while at the workplace. Same situation, according to CBS Sports, that Detroit Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams found himself in earlier this offseason. This, it's mind-blowing to me. So, I mean, I get it that you don't want football players betting on the NFL. I get that. I get it if you don't want the NFL players playing fantasy football. I get that. Betting on other sports at the facility, I don't know what the issue is there. I don't understand this. Make it make sense, Wade.
I really can't, because I'm with you. If you're not touching the NFL product, to me, it just seems like what's the big deal, right? And the thing that immediately kind of caught my eye is, Petit-Frere's not the first one and won't be the last.
No.
To be doing this, quote unquote, at the workplace. Now, a couple ways to interpret that. It's not as if he was taking reps with the first team, and then the second he came out of the huddle and went to the sideline and got his phone out and started placing some wagers. Workplace does constitute, maybe a lounge, guys at the locker room, things of that nature. So that immediately to me says, well, how do you know it was just him? Because presumably if you're throwing down some money on another sport, you're not necessarily doing it of your own volition. It may be some chatter between the guys at the locker room saying, who do you like in the NBA tonight? Or who do you like, in various sports? So I'll be real curious to know kind of how all this comes down. Obviously the NFL has clearly got some shape, form, or fashion. And it seems like they're really trying to get out in front of this because we're seeing obviously suspensions for both players, and we've seen some front office personnel. There's coaching with the Jets, at least, going down last year. So it's kind of interesting that the NFL, the one league that really, really, really did not want to give in until it absolutely had to in terms of sports gambling, they're the ones now that are really kind of pushing the charge as far as popping people for getting on. But I'm like you. I don't understand the real penalty, harm, error, egregiousness, whatever you want to use there for other sports, especially if it's in your downtime.
It just feels so hypocritical to me for a sport that has gotten so in bed with sports gambling. But apparently, again, according to this CBS Sports article I'm looking at earlier this month, the league laid out 6 key rules to help players understand the league's gambling policy. Don't bet on the NFL. Seems obvious. Okay. Don't gamble at your team facility while traveling for a road game or staying at a team hotel. I don't get it. Don't have someone bet for you. Don't share team inside information. Don't enter a sports book during the NFL playing season. Don't play daily fantasy football. Again, all of those I can get except number 2. Again, if you're betting on something other than the sport that you're participating in, I don't know what the issue is with that wherever you do it. So it's
it seems a bit somewhat hypocritical, like you said. You know, I kind of get it. It's a little bit of a catch-all when you say the team facility, but like I said, especially the players, there's a lot of downtime where you're technically at the team facility when you'd rather be at your house, but instead you're kind of, taking off your pads, you're kind of hanging out in the lounge, playing ping pong, playing video games, whatever. But you're technically still at the team facility. So I sort of get that. It's kind of I guess maybe like any other job, if you were at a school or a bank or something of that nature, maybe you don't want that type of behavior going on. But you're exactly right. How many times have you and I been in the press box this year and you just glance across the stadium and there's an ad here, there's an ad there, there's an ad here, there's an ad there. And it does just seem really kind of hypocritical.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, Petit Ferrer is going to be out for the first 6 games, and for a offensive line that's at best in transition, this doesn't help.
No, and that's exactly right. And that's what I was just getting ready to bring, throw all the extracurricular out the side, but what does this actually mean for the team now? It means for an offensive line that's in transition, like you said, they didn't have a lot of room for a margin of error. And now all of a sudden you're out with one of your potential starters for not just 1 or 2 games, but 6 games. I guess maybe lucky, not the whole season, but 6 games. I mean, a good third of the season, you're without one of your key cogs there across the line.
And he had become a key cog. I mean, he, played, I'm not sure how many games he played last year as a rookie, but was certainly a key contributor. And, you expected better out of him in his second year now that he got a full season and an off season under his belt at the NFL level, really progressing. This is a heck of a blow for him individually and certainly for the Titans up front as they try to make a charge at Jacksonville and just try to restabilize themselves across the board. So this is another tough blow for Mike Vrabel and the Titans to deal with as they get ready for this upcoming 23 season. Mike Vrabel, who again, according to Pro Football Focus, is not one of the top 10 coaches in the National Football League. Wade, did you happen to see that this morning?
I missed that, but that makes me scratch my head a little bit, to say the least.
Pro Football Focus, PFF, put out a list of its top 10 football coaches, NFL coaches, and it just kind of struck me. I don't know how, for what he's done over the last couple of years. I know they were 7-10. I know they ended the year on a dismal losing streak, but how much worse would things have been if it had been somebody other than Vrabel?
Was just getting ready to say that. I could maybe be with you if you want to make the case. Is he the most elite, schematic, or best coach in the history of the NFL? I can certainly maybe, make that argument with you. But as far as a guy that galvanized that team and got that team to a lot of wins that they had no business getting, Getting the 1 seed a couple of years ago. I mean, this is a coach that, to me, I mean, I don't know how, just out of based on track record and pedigree, he's not in the top 10. I mean, if you just said top 2 or 3, okay, maybe, but top 10 that's just literally a slap in the face, in my opinion.
Let me tell you who is in the top 10, just to bring some context to it. Number 10, in his first year as New York Giants coach, Bryant DeBoer. Number 9, Buffalo Bills coach Sean McDermott. Nick Sirianni of the Eagles at number 8. Jacksonville's Doug Peterson at 7. The Rams' Sean McVay at 6. John Harbaugh of the Ravens at 5. Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers at 4. Mike Tomlin, 3. 2 is Bill Belichick. And number 1 is Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm not sure exactly what order I'd have them in, but I don't have a whole lot of argument with a lot of those guys. But DeBoer, McVay, I have a tough time with those two guys being ahead of Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, and Giants coach for sure. I mean, if you're basing the list, so essentially what you're doing is you're basing the list off of just last year, but you're kind of framing it as if it's a cumulative type list. But Dable only got the 1 season, so you're essentially boiling it down to 1 year. So that
you're kind of picking and choosing. Exactly. Because if it's just 1 year, if it's just last year, I'm not sure Belichick needs to be up there.
Correct.
So, I mean, I don't know if that list is fish or foul. It strikes me as pretty foul. But
now, I will say this, though. You know who loves the fact that he is not in the top 10 of that coaching list? Mike Vrabel himself. Mike Vrabel. That is the king of water cooler talk and corkboard material there. So he's going to stash that away and bring that out at a rainy day. You watch.
It's a heck of a point. That's a heck of a point. Hey, when we continue on Main Street Sports today here, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, we will be joined by Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins. Got a big event coming up this weekend. We're going to check with him on. So come on back.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back to the Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Maurice Patton, joined by a needed hydrating Wade Neely. And
I had to get my mug, Mo, and producer Justin, I failed to check. Always check with your producer before you go to break, and I learned a valuable lesson today.
Yeah, see how much time you got. But no, we're good. We're all good here in the Mobile Lee Company studios here, and we are joined on this this Thursday afternoon. Let's not make this week any longer. This Thursday afternoon on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill. Joining us is Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins. Coach.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing real good. Can you guys hear me? I'm kind of in the dungeon right now, but
we got you.
I think we've got you, Coach. We appreciate you taking some time with us. Wanted to check in with you because you've got your big event coming up this weekend. I believe this is the second Deserve to Win All-Star Celebrity Weekend. Friday and Saturday over at Gentry Center. Tell folks what you got going on.
Yeah, second annual Celebrity Weekend. We're really excited about it. This year we're having a double header. The first game is going to be more of a celebrity game. The second game is going to be some serious ballers, NBA and overseas guys, Memphis versus Nashville. We got some unbelievable names. They're all going to be in one place in the Gentry Center on Saturday. First game's at 1 o'clock. Second game's at 3.
Tell the folks who they might have a chance to see on the floor over there between those two games, because I've seen the list and it's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, we're excited. We got Jawan Jennings from the 49ers, Shaq Mason from the Texans, Jalen Mills from the Patriots, Hassan Haskins from the hometown Titans. We got rapper Young Buck, multi-platinum rapper from here in Nashville. Starlito is another big-time rapper. We got actresses Tiffany Jackson, who's in the new White Men Can't Jump movie, and This Is Us movie on Netflix. We got Dawn Evans, who's an actress and a former basketball player. Jackie Wade, a local celebrity star who's an actress here in Nashville. And the list goes on and on, man. I'm just excited about the first game. And then the second game is going to be loaded. Penny Hardaway is bringing the team down. I'm just happy to see Penny Hardaway just by himself. So he's bringing the team down. He's got a bunch of Memphis guys. Ian Clark, who played at Belmont Golden State Warriors. Alex Lomax, who played for him this year. Taylor Horton-Tucker from the Utah Jazz. And they're playing against a team of Nashville guys. Dylan Windler from Belmont. Jordan Bone from University of Tennessee. Robert Covington is putting the team together. Obviously, he's a Tennessee State graduate, and he's bringing some friends as well. So it's just going to be a fun-filled game. Anybody is involved. Jalen Ramsey's involved. Mookie Betts would be here, but he's in season right now. Like he's close to the program. Anybody that's big time, that's came from the city, is going to be involved in this game. And they'll all be here in Nashville. I'll be here at Tennessee State on Saturday. I'm excited that Team Nashville is being coached by Corey Allen and the big cat, William Bellaford, the Antioch men's coach. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out who can handle all these egos. And Bellaford's the first name that came to mind. And Corey Allen is just a childhood friend of mine who I really adore. And really respect his basketball IQ, and I know the players won't get an attitude when he takes them out the game. So I figured Corey Allen and William Belford would be the perfect coaches for Nashville team.
Now, are you going to lace them up?
I am. I'm playing in the first game.
You're playing in the celebrity game. You're not playing in the for real game. Huh?
I'm not getting out there with them young boys. They're going to make me look bad and dunk on me. I'm cool on that. But I'm about to be 40 this year, so I'm gonna play with the actresses and actors. I think I'll look okay out there with football players.
Hey,
Speaking
Penny,
of egos,
speaking of egos, and Penny, I got to ask you. You mentioned our boy Lito. What kind of game does Star have out there?
Man, Lito played high school ball. We played on the same AAU program. He was on the 16 and under team when I was on the 17 and under team. But we've been childhood friends, and he can hoop. Now, last year he played, and I think he had 4 points, and he took that pretty personal. That's the kind of competitor he is. That's why he's such a good rapper. He's been working on his game, and I put him, since I knew he was doing all that, I put him on my team to make sure we can get some of that old AAU chemistry back. But Lito's a hooper. Like, he averaged a double-double in high school. Like, he can play. And
he's a big dude. He can throw him down if need be, too. I don't know if he's still got the bunnies, but we know he can for sure.
Oh, yeah. He can dunk. He's about 6'4", 6'5", man. He's actually supposed to be coming over here today and get a little workout in. So always cool spending time with my boy.
Like to hear Shaq Mason, Columbia Central legend. And I didn't get to see him play in high school, but I hear he's got a little game too.
He can hoop. He played in the celebrity game last year. Big boy, big physical guy, and a big supporter of our program. You know, a lot of people don't know the silent supporters that, you know, don't always get all the bells and whistles. But, you know, last year he came to the event, but he just wasn't at the event. He came to our fundraising event. He came to the parties that we had. He was involved with us. He spent time with our guys, and he gave back to the program. So Shaq Mason's, he's a big time. Not only is he a big time player and gonna have a long NFL career, just signed a new deal with the Texans, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just a great person. So I really respect Big Shaq.
Always good when you can get Robert Covington back on campus, huh?
Yeah, you know, he's the only HBCU player in the NBA. A lot of people love him. The NBA loves him. That's why his career's been as long as it's been. And it's the type of person he is. And he's an inspiration for our program and somebody we can always look to and say, look, he made it from here. So why can't you? So we love Rob. He's having a free camp right now out there in the gym as we speak. I'm sorry. Somebody was calling me. He's having a free camp in the gym as we speak. And he's a good person. I probably need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, good. Yeah, Rob Covington, great guy.
Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart over in Chapel Hill. He's got his Deserve to Win All-Star Celebrity Weekend coming up Saturday over at Gentry Center. And, you know, as we talk about Robert Covington, the Ohio Valley Conference has been releasing its 75th anniversary teams in different sports over the last couple of weeks. Rob, one of 4 guys from Tennessee State on that 75th anniversary men's basketball team, along with recent graduate Junior Clay, Bruce Price, and Carlos Rogers. Pretty nice little cross-section of ex-Tigers there, I guess. Coach?
Yeah, 75th anniversary team. Excited about it. You know, Rob, those guys deserve it, and I think we deserve some more. We got a lot of great players that have came.
I think that yes, we got you. I think that pretty much every school kind of shares that same sentiment, Coach, that, you know, it was nice to see who they did recognize. Probably could have had a few more, but that's you know, Carlos, Robert, Bruce. I got a chance to cover Bruce a little bit when I was covering TSU. That guy could fill it up, and I'm sure you saw all of those guys in some capacity or another with your background with Tennessee State.
Yeah, I coached Bruce his senior year. I was a grad assistant coach that year, and obviously everybody grew up watching Carlos Rogers in the city. Seeing him get drafted was amazing for Tennessee State in the early '90s. Junior Clay, man, what a career! 5-time All-OVC. All those guys on that list, nobody was 5-time OVC. COVID allowed him to have that kind of year. He had an amazing senior year, so I thought he should have been an OVC Player of the Year, but that's neither here nor there. But just a great list of players. And who was the 4th guy?
That was it. Rob, Junior, Bruce, and Carlos. Yeah,
Rob. Yeah, we
Yeah,
already know what kind of career he has. So
no
yeah,
question. On the women's on the women's side, you had Carolyn Aldridge, another city legend, Kendra Appling, Brianna Lawrence, and Connie Swift, who helped TSU to the NCAAs during her career there. So
yeah.
nice representation for TSU there. Hey, Coach, can't have you on without asking you, what do you think about the Ice Tigers?
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm a big hockey fan. I can't name a bunch of hockey players, but I like going to the games. This is a great environment. Us being the first ever, Tennessee State's a lot of first ever. So you just add that to our list, and I think it's going to bring a lot of fun atmosphere, fun experience for our students here at Tennessee State to experience hockey games. And I can promise you there won't be a more literal hockey game than you'll see at TSU. Because I promise you, probably our band will probably be playing there. Probably a live environment and the best hockey experience you'll probably get. So, and I know whoever we get, it'll be a great coach there to bring great players. I'm excited about the hockey announcement.
Oh, that's epic news. We discussed it on our show yesterday, and I don't know when I can pre-order a jersey or a sweater, but as soon as we can get one, I'm going to have one, Coach, because like you said, the atmosphere at those games is going to be electric. And, Coach, while we got you here also, don't blink, but season kind of slowly, maybe not so slowly for some, kind of creeping up on us here. How's the summer been, and what are you looking to get accomplished with your squad here in the next couple of weeks before we really start getting into the meat of the fall season?
Yes, here. I mean, it's going to be here. 4 or 5 months. We playing a game, and we're in week 4 right now of summer workouts. The guys are working hard. We got a great recruiting class, transfer from Florida, transfer from Nebraska, Eastern Illinois, 2 transfers from Belmont, and a host of really good returners. It's been a fun summer. I'm proud of where we are, and we're just trying to build chemistry right now and understand, what the things that we do, and then when we get back in the fall, we can just kind of get to it and start getting ready to play games. So I'm excited about it. It's been a really fun summer, and the expectations are high around here. We're coming off a season. We won 18 games, 1 game out of second, and broke some records, broke attendance records. So where do we go from here? So a lot of people are excited about TSU basketball, and they should be. And we're just going to take it one day at a time.
Speaking of attendance, Mo, speaking of attendance, Coach, are we getting close to announcing a schedule? You got any big games that you can tease or anything you can tell us about your big games this year?
Yeah, we got some big games. We're going to play Oregon, University of Oregon out there. We're going to fly out there and play them. And while we're out there, we're going to go ahead and play Portland. So that's 2 really big games. We're going to play Liberty University. They're in the Conference USA now. Away games against Alabama A&M and Lipscomb. Home games against Austin Peay and Fisk. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. We're going to travel down during Thanksgiving for a tournament in Destin, Florida. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to play Mercer in the first round, and then there's 2 other really good teams. So have a chance to win a championship in the middle of the season. I think that's always good for confidence, and that's our goal, to hopefully go down and get a Thanksgiving championship. But the schedule is really good. The teams in this area, we're going to play Lipscomb and Austin Peay and Alabama A&M. Well, we'll scrimmage Belmont. You guys will find out about that score, but we're gonna always great test against Belmont, and it's just exciting. It's gonna be an exciting season. And in conference play, we added Western Illinois to the OVC this year, so the pairing is gonna be different this year in terms of the travel. We won't play everybody twice this year. It'll be like kind of pairs. Some teams will play twice, and some teams will play once. So it's gonna be a good schedule. I'm excited about it.
Coach, you mentioned chemistry and building that here over the summer, and you also mentioned some of the guys that you brought in as transfers this year. With the transfer portal and everything going on with that, this summer work becomes even more important, I would think, in terms of building that chemistry so that you're not just getting that FaceTime with each other once classes start in August.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, I think teams that like each other, they play a little bit better. The teams that spend the most time around each other and what they do off the court, when they go to the apartments and hang out, or they're in the cafeteria hanging out, that's where the chemistry and the real liking and loving each other happens. And then that spills over onto the floor. And if you can get some guys that genuinely like each other, that the maturation process happens faster instead of having to learn some tough lesson. And then they like, oh, okay, coach, we'll do what you say now. But I do think it's important in the recruiting process to recruit young men to understand that coming in. And when we went and got the 2 Belmont transfers, EJ Bellinger and Michael Shanks, I've been knowing those guys for many years. Obviously, as a Belmont alumni, I followed the program. And Rick Byrd don't miss on character. He just don't. And even though Casey coached them, Rick Byrd signed those guys. And when they went in the transfer portal, one of the first phone calls that I received, I didn't even call Coach Byrd. He called me. I'm like, that was my wife right there. She gonna be mad that I just ignored her. Rick Byrd really, really, really sold me on Michael Shanks and EJ Bellinger. And now that I'm coaching them, I see that Belmont character that just shines through. And to go along with the other great young men we have on our team, like Marcus Fitzgerald, their character is really permeating throughout our whole team. And you can see a shift in just a winning mentality that you can get. And even the guy from University of Florida, Big Jason Jitabo, he's 6'11", 300 pounds, fellas, and he's a monster. But he's coming from Florida where he's special things and winning. You know what I'm saying? That was the wife again.
Yeah, she's not being ignored very well, huh, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Collins, men's basketball.
No,
well, we're gonna let you get to her, Coach. But Brian Collins, a men's basketball coach at Tennessee State, joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe. Again, Coach, tell folks real quick how they can get tickets and get into your event on Saturday.
Yeah, July 1st, obviously, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. The tickets are on Ticketmaster, and you also can buy the day of the event. We announced today, all kids are free. 18 and under are free. We want you to come out and see these NBA guys and celebrities for free. She's not playing. So, let me call her back. But 18 and under for free, and TSU students are free. So, see y'all in Gentry Center. See y'all in Gentry Center on Saturday.
Sounds good, Coach. We appreciate it. Tell her we said hey.
All right,
Thank you, Penny.
All right. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, little baseball chatter, and not just Braves. So stick with us.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
There is nothing better than drinking an ice-cold beverage while taking in a Nashville Sounds baseball game. Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller with Mornings on Main Street. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television have teamed up to promote Sunday Family Fun Day here at First Horizon Park, each Sunday home game. Just go to your favorite Main Street Media website and click on Sounds Main Street Media Day banner to register to win free tickets. And then we'll see you here at the ballpark.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
June 29th, 1997, former Nashville Sounds infielder Keith Lockhart's six-inning grand slam brought the Braves all the way back from a 5-run deficit, and Fred McGriff's RBI triple an inning later gave the hosts a 6-5 win over Philadelphia. Another ex-Sound, Scott Ruffcorn, started for the Phillies and was lifted just 3 batters before Lockhart's heroics, which followed a Mark Lemke RBI base hit. Mark Wohlers, the Braves' 5th pitcher of the game, threw a scoreless 9th for his 17th save as Atlanta improved to 52-28. That was this day in Braves history. Braves win, and did so again yesterday, Wade. As we mentioned before we went off the air, the Braves with that 3-0 victory over the Twins, capping that series down at Truist Field. They have now won 13 of their last 14, and they are 20-4 for the month of June. I'm not sure what we can say at this point that we've not already said.
No, and first of all, Mo, you got me speechless here a second ago because did you say Fred McGriff triple?
Triple.
I'm doing a quick bit of scrambling here, and I am surprised, but the Crime Dog looks like he had 24 career triples.
Well, here's the thing.
Which is about 20 more than I thought he maybe had for his career.
But see, here's the thing. If he hits one in the right center gap, man, with his legs, if it kicks back toward the infield, and I think he's a little faster than Matt Olson. So, I mean, he's got a shot. So, but yeah, I probably would have taken the under, excuse me, if you had told me he had 24 triples over under. I'd have probably gone less than that. But yeah, that's
looks like in '88 he had as a member of the Blue Jays had 4. His first season with the triple, he had 4 in 1 year with the Blue Jays.
Well, it's a pretty big park too.
Yeah.
So that didn't hurt. Yeah, always good when we can. Crime Dog going in this year.
One of the all-time childhood greats for young Wade Neely was the Crime Dog. The Braves had so many iconic players growing up, and he was just right there at he's almost on the Mount Rushmore probably growing up as a kid.
He was fun. The way that bat would whip on that left-handed swing when he got a hold to one, he was fun to watch for sure. And again, the Braves rolling off today before they get Miami coming into town for 3 tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. But enough about the Braves. And rarely would I say that, but got a perfect game last night, Wade.
You know, Mo, I saw right before I was getting ready for bed, I saw on Twitter, and it was a little false advertising. Somebody had tweeted that the Yankees were 6 outs from a no-hitter.
Well,
and I didn't really do my due diligence, and I didn't bother to turn it on. And the tweet, honestly, now that I think about it, implied almost that the A's were the team throwing the no-hitter. But cooler heads prevailed, and I realized what really was going on. But had I known that it was in line for a perfect game, I probably would have dialed in. And then as I'm in bed, right before I hit the shut eye there, I see the notification. I'm like, well, missed the ball on that one. But wow, what an effort last night.
9 strikeouts in an 11-0 New York Yankees victory over the Oakland A's. And as you mentioned, the A's obviously struggling a little bit. You probably wouldn't have expected it to be them, and it wasn't. But what's odd about this for Domingo Germán is that this guy was probably closer to being pulled out of the rotation for the Yankees than he was throwing a perfect game. He had gone a total of 5 1/3 innings in his last 2 starts and had given up 15 earned runs.
Isn't it a weird game? 5-5 on the season, nearly a 5 ERA last night, 27 up, 27 down.
Yeah. Whoever it was that said momentum is your next day starter. I mean, you just never know, man. And Herman had been suspended earlier in the year for violations of the sticky substance rule. He's had off-field issues with PEDs and some domestic violence issues. But he was perfect last night.
Yep, and I'm looking at the box score. Most impressive to me, he had 9 strikeouts, but threw under 100 pitches. 72 strikes for 99 total pitches last night.
So he nearly threw a Maddox last night then, huh?
He was on fire, and just feels, you're almost just starting to wonder with the way that the game is going, when are we going to see one, or is it almost going to be not impossible, but how rare of an achievement is this going to be? And then poof, one popped up on us last night.
First one since 2012.
And there were a string of a few in there in a row before. So it feels like we kind of got an embarrassment of riches there for a little bit before we go 11 plus years.
Yeah, Felix Hernandez threw the last one in August of 2012. And like I said, that was the third one. San Francisco's Matt Cain, who played his high school ball down in Memphis, and the Chicago White Sox, Philip Humber, also threw perfect games in 2012. So, like you said, 3 that year and none in the 11 years since, until last night when Domingo Germán notches one against the Athletics in a 11-0 victory. I think that's the 24th all-time.
And I was just getting ready to say, a lesser sports talk show would ask the question, does this have an asterisk beside it because they did play the A's? But I'm not going to go there. But
no.
I mean, you got being perfect is being perfect. And he indeed was last night.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, getting 27 outs and 27 hitters is getting it done regardless of who you're doing it against. I mean, again, 24 all time in Major League history. That's probably the most uncommon feat that you can accomplish in Major League Baseball.
Randy Johnson, my old college roommate, was at the Randy Johnson perfect game versus a certain team based in Atlanta. I mean, it's just saying that will not probably appear on this day in Braves history anytime soon, but a friend of mine was at one of those, and he never let us live it down. Oh,
you're killing me, Smalls. I could have gone all day without that reminder. The fourth in Yankees history, following David Cone, David Wells, and of course Don Larson, who threw his in the 1956 World Series.
Hello.
Yeah, that's pretty well getting it done. Third in the Oakland Coliseum after former A's pitchers Catfish Hunter and Dallas Braden did it. Braden did his on Mother's Day, if you remember.
I do, and I kind of forgot about King Felix, but I definitely remembered Braden. And also, I kind of had forgotten about this story, but the David Wells perfect game was in conjunction with the night that the Yankees gave away the Beanie Baby, which was, the hottest item on the planet back in the day. So not only if you went to that game did you get the rarest of rare giveaways, you also got a dang perfect game out of the whole thing.
That was on a Sunday. Now, was that the night after he was on Saturday Night Live or something? There was a story behind that.
There's a story behind a lot of things with that guy.
Well, that's true. That is true.
But yes, I definitely remember some chatter earlier this year especially with the renaissance of baseball cards and collectibles. And everybody said, don't forget the time that David Wells threw a perfect game and was kind of almost overshadowed by the Beanie Baby giveaway.
Well, it was overshadowed by not just Beanie Babies. I pulled up an article from the New York Post. Apparently he went to the after party after the Saturday Night Live show the night before and got in at 5:30 in the morning, according to him, and was a wreck when he got to the stadium and wound up throwing a perfect game. So, I mean, I don't know if that's how you would suggest anybody else go about it, but it worked for Boomer. So,
man, yeah. That guy's full of stories. I love that's what I do love about baseball is there's just the lore behind some of these stories, games, and guys, and he's an all-timer.
Oh, without question. Wade, we mentioned during the rundown, your Astros come up with a win last night. Much needed.
Didn't get to watch it, but much needed. And anytime you can beat the Cardinals, old rivalries die hard, and that's a good one for Houston, whether they're in the American League now or not. That's an old-fashioned rivalry that I always like to see a win for the good guys.
Yeah, I mean, those two are close enough that they probably, it still means something, even though the Astros are in the American League. And anytime you can beat St. Louis at Busch, it's a big deal too. So
yes, and my claim to fame, the only 2 games I ever went to at the new Busch Stadium, went to see the Astros. Lance Berkman for the Astros back then. I want to say he hit 4 home runs in the 3-game series. I went to I went to all 3. He hit 4 or 5 home runs in that series, and for whatever reason, we were late getting to the games, and we missed all the home runs that he hit in that series because he hit them in the first or second inning every game, and we arrived late every game. So the Astros end up winning the series. Berkman goes nuts, and I didn't see a single round tripper.
Ouch! I blame whoever you were traveling with.
That's probably fair. It was probably a little bit of both. That was back in my college years, so there's a variety of reasons we could have not arrived on time.
Was there some David Wells activity going on with y'all as well?
For the Saturday game after a Friday night, there's almost 100% chance that's exactly what happens. And if it was a Sunday early start, I don't think it was Sunday night baseball. So yeah, you can almost bank on that too.
Who y'all got this weekend?
Man, you put me on the spot here. Houston comes in though, and hopefully going to be back at home. And I'd love to get a division opponent at home. I got half of it right. They got the Rangers on the road. So
it's a big series.
And you and I have been chattering all week long, about alarm bells and mashing the warning signs just yet. So this is a big series. If Houston come out of this with at least 2 out of 3, you got to feel a little bit more confident than where you are right now.
Certainly. If you can just gain something out of this showdown with them, that'll be big. Again, Atlanta's got Miami coming in for the next 3 after today, off today. Hopefully that offense doesn't lose any momentum with the off day today, but we'll see how that goes. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we will be joined by Willie Ramirez to talk a little WNBA, specifically the big game tonight between the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberties. So stay with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Welcome back to Today's Better Health. I'm Colleen Barton, and I'm here with Dr. Gil Kentoff and Dr. Wendy Toohey, and we're talking about the latest treatments in back and neck pain.
Many people, Colleen, come to see us with neck and back pain, and they develop tingling and numbness down the arm or lower back pain that develops into sciatica shooting down their leg. And for these patients, we have an advanced treatment technology, non-surgical decompression therapy that we really introduced to this area. It separates the vertebrae and creates a suction to allow fluids and nutrients back in to heal the disc naturally, relieving pressure on the nerve and on the joint. It's an amazing treatment.
We've been helping patients like this for the last 30 years, helping them get back to work, get back to their family, get back to the life they want to live.
I mean, it really is amazing. Technology helping us to live pain-free and better lives.
Right.
And I bet you have a special offer.
The first 25 callers will receive an examination, x-rays, review of our findings, and their first treatment, all for $39.
Call 615-551-3897 today to receive this special offer.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back to the Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely, joining you from our mobile Lee Company studios at our homes. And joining us, as we told you, is Willie Ramirez, longtime Southern Nevada sports writer, covers the Las Vegas Aces and the defending WNBA champions with a big game. I think most of us, as soon as we saw, the way the schedule was being put together for this season, kind of circled this game, Willie. The first of 4 regular season meetings with the Liberty. And Willie's muted.
There we go.
There we go.
It's definitely been a long time coming. I think, ever since the exhibition game, and like you said, once the acquisitions were made in New York, Jonquel Jones coming over, Brianna Stewart, Courtney Vandersloot to join Sabrina Ionescu, Sandy Brunell. What we saw in the exhibition game and the first few games after the Liberty and the Aces met in the preseason was, I think, Sandy Brondello was trying to figure out what to do with Jonquel Jones. It's really not that hard to figure out that Courtney Vandersloot facilitates the offense, Sabrina Ionescu is your scorer, and Stewie is in the paint. Arguably the best player, I would say, in the past decade. Of course, Asia Wilson is making the argument for that now and sort of taking over as the face of the league. But, I mean, Stewie has been the woman, right, in the WNBA for a minute. So I think it was let's try to figure out what we do with Jonquel Jones. Where do her minutes go? Where does she play? The Liberty are arriving at the right time in terms of how they're playing, the pace they're playing at, and how they're winning basketball games. the thing I've been pointing out about the Las Vegas Aces is, they've won right now for, I believe, I think they're on a 6-game win streak by 20 points. They haven't played a winning team since they went back east and split 2 games in Connecticut with the Sun, excuse me, in a WNBA Finals rematch. They played teams with 500 or worse records. The Liberty have played several winning teams. They're coming off of an overtime win over Washington. They flew in. They had a shoot-around today. I'm going to be catching up with them later on. I'm doing an outtake on Courtney Vandersloot. So I'm looking forward to it just because it's the first big test for the Aces since they went back east and played the Connecticut Sun.
Wade?
Yeah, Willie, and you're right. They take the first game versus the Sun, but it was a nail biter, and then obviously they dropped that second game, only blemish on the record. I caught most of the second half of the game versus the Fever the other night, which got a little testy. Saw some technical fouls doled out, which you don't see a ton of in the WNBA. And I guess I'm curious, Willie, on your take. I guess simply just boiling it down, who maybe in your mind wants this game more tonight? Because from a motivation standpoint, because it seems to me like Vegas has kind of just been coasting just a little bit, but it seems like the Liberty are coming in with a little bit of a extra chip on their shoulder this evening.
Yeah. I definitely think the Liberty are going to be the more motivated team to prove something here. Everybody's kind of – the Aces have sort of become the New England Patriots of the WNBA, if you will, sort of the darlings, even though they're just coming off their first championship. Let's not forget that they've been to the championship. They lost to the Storm in the bubble. Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, you're seeing their names splashed everywhere. You're seeing big offseason acquisitions. Now Candace Parker and Alicia Clark arrive. So they've kind of got a target on their back, not just because they're arguably the best team in the league, but because of just the Las Vegas persona right now. They're the champs. Now the Golden Knights are the champs. The Raiders are here. The A's are coming, right? So all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, Las Vegas is infiltrating on all of these pro sports towns. And let's not forget the biggest media market, the biggest, metro area, New York, right? Let's not forget about Los Angeles. Now you got Chicago and then Miami. Excuse me. There's all these big-time pro sports towns that have been around, and Vegas is just being thrown in everyone's face. There's nothing more than the Liberty would love to do is come in and show that they have just as much depth, just as much talent, and just as much solid coaching. Sandy Brundello, Becky Hammond took the world by storm, and her headlines, the WNBA world by storm, and the headlines was about getting $1 million contract. But toss that contract out, and you're talking about 2 very high IQ coaches who can coach against one another. It's not $1 million a year doesn't mean that Becky Hammond is the best coach in the league. She's got a great talent. She's got a great roster in which, she can facilitate and she can employ a certain strategy with. But they've shown their struggles against competition. The Indiana Fever are no joke. They're going to be a thorn in someone's side if they make the playoffs. But next year, when they get a couple more draft picks, offseason acquisitions, that team's going to be dangerous. I loved watching Aaliyah Boston. They gave the Aces all they could handle. The one thing I'm going to give the Aces, I'm going to sort of let them off the hook a little bit, is the loss to Connecticut was big, but it was the 4th game in 7 nights, I believe, on the road after an emotional start to the season, playing in Seattle, then playing down in LA, and then coming home for the ring ceremony. So there was a lot of emotion buildup before they go away for 4 games. Nevertheless, I'll say it again, New York's played a tougher schedule. New York's been more battle-tested. New York has just as much talent in the starting 5. New York can hang with this team. The odds makers are saying 7. I saw an opening number of 6.5, went to 7.5, dropped to 7. Now it's lingering around 6.5. I'm not sure what the wise guys are doing. Let me tell you something. This could be a game that comes down to the end. I ran the numbers in a spreadsheet program that I have, and I have the Aces winning by 4 points.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game tonight. And another question, just in terms of Vegas and their production, it's kind of been, I've used this term already on the show, but an embarrassment of riches. And watching them night in, night out, seems like Wilson can go off. Certainly Plum can go off. Young's played very well as of late. And then it seems like Chelsea Gray had a fantastic game the other night. And I guess I'm just curious, when these games start to really matter, or we enter a big game like tonight versus the Liberty, does their offense change? Are they going to look to maybe go to one player in particular more down the stretch when these games kind of get a little bit higher in significance?
Well, it's a good question. We don't know because they haven't been in that position. We haven't seen what Becky's had to do when they're up against it. Now, the other night, I will say, the Fever held a 1-point lead with a couple of minutes left, and then the Aces went on a 7-0 run. So, the beauty of that lineup, last year, Becky took forever to go to her bench. And what you never knew when she was going to bring in Raquana Williams and then go deeper on the bench. They had De'Erica Hamby in the starting lineup. So now, if you look at Alicia Clark's resume, the last time that she came off the bench as a reserve was 2019 and it took place one time. Prior to that, 2016, it happened one time. Prior to that, when she was a regular reserve, I think it was the last 9 games of 2014. Now you're talking about Alicia Clark as your 6th woman. That's amazing. She could start anywhere in the league. Then you have Kia Stokes. Then you have Kirsten Bell. You have Kayla George. So she's been going to her bench much quicker, regardless of the score in the first quarter, getting that rotation, seeing different sets, seeing what works with different lineups. And I think that's what's going to help her a little bit tonight is these players have played, they're conditioned, they've seen game time. Last year, you didn't see that a lot. So because she's used her bench much more efficiently this year, it's going to keep that starting 5 fresh when she needs to rotate them in and out and save them. The one person I would say who is consistent and you can always count on for dynamics and can help facilitate at all times is going to be Chelsea Gray. They don't call her the point guard for nothing. But I think when it comes down to it, you have to look at Chelsea Gray looking to go to Asia Wilson. And if she's not an option, then you have a drive and kick option to go to Kelsey Plum.
Willie Ramirez joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, talking a little WNBA as 2 of the league's Titans, the defending champion Las Vegas Aces, coming in at 13-1, taking on the 10-3 New York Liberty, the first meeting between the 2 out of 4 here in the regular season. And Willie, as I was looking at standings, I have to admit, I did not realize that the Sun actually had more wins than the Liberty over in the East. They're 12-4 as we sit here right now. But, again, I think this was a much anticipated matchup coming into the year. Neither team has done anything to really make it any less so. But what do you feel like the impact of a couple of veterans? You mentioned Alicia Clark, who obviously has local ties for us. Also, Candace Parker coming over from the Sky, her hometown team, where she had a lot of success. You've had some people who have come onto that roster who kind of have to, take a little bit of a step back maybe from what they've been used to doing to make this all mesh the way it needs to for the Aces to be successful. What have you seen out of Candace and Alicia?
Well, I don't think that Candace, to be honest with you, I don't think Candace Parker's done anything less than she's normally done. She just doesn't have, I think the pressure's off of her because she feels more comfortable in her role because she's not relied upon to score a bulk of the points. So she can still come in and do exactly what she does. She can play defense. She can clog the paint. She can block shots. She can rebound. But she has Asia Wilson there to dump. You know what I mean? For offensive rebound, dump off. She can play a decoy. She's an added body for a team to be concerned about. But let's face it, Candace Parker is going into the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. Candace Parker will go down as one of the top 20 players of all time, if not top 10. But right now, she doesn't even need to rely upon that person that she built, that brand of her own that she built in the league, because you have the reigning face of the league, as I mentioned at the top. Asia Wilson is the reigning MVP. She's the star of the league. Tonight we're going to see battle of the best teams in the league, Aces and Liberty, battle of the Titans between Asia Wilson and Bree Stewart. Last year's series between the Storm and the Aces was epic with those two. So with Candace, you asked a second ago who might be the key player. Candace might be a key player because Bree's going to be focused so much on Asia that Candace might find herself open at times unless they bring in a matching Jonquel Jones. And Jonquel bring her in to cover Asia. It's going to be an interesting dynamic because I think Candace has really relished in her role this year in not sort of feeling the pressure of having to be the do-all for a team. Alicia Clark, she's just doing what she does when she comes in for the sixth as the sixth woman. So she's doing what she normally did. Her role is the same, and that is to facilitate at both ends. She's an incredible defender. She disrupts things. She clogs passing lanes. She gets her hands in the middle of the opposing team and where they can't make efficient passes. I mean, and then at the other end, she has vision. I don't think anybody in the league can pass like Chelsea Gray, but Alicia Clark is a very smart basketball player. Like, she knows what's going on with the other 9 basketball players. It's one thing to know what's going on with your 4 teammates. Alicia's aware of what's going on with all other 9 basketball players at the same time. When she's in the game, she's dangerous because she can make things happen at either ends of the court.
Wait.
I guess, Willie, you kind of predict a tight game tonight as we get into this one. And I guess for the Liberty, is there anybody other than Bree that could jump out, or who might potentially jump out if this does come into a close game? Because that's been the interesting thing watching Vegas all year, is their games have ebbed and flowed between blowouts and kind of a few middling games outside of, Monday night was a nail biter maybe toward the end. But who are some other names for the Liberty that are going to potentially, in crunch time, offer some assistance there in scoring?
Well, I think Sabrina Ionescu is the player to watch for them realistically, because I think if you look who cancels each other out, right, depending on who Jackie Young, who they put on Courtney Vandersloot, I would imagine they're going to put, I don't know if they're going to put Chelsea Gray on Sloot. They could use Jackie. They're similar in size. Jackie's it allows Chelsea to break out in transition and keeps her free from having to focus on what Sloot's doing. Jackie's playing having a great season. Sabrina Ionescu is the wild card for the Liberty because depending on who defends her and who's sizing her up, she is phenomenal anywhere on the court. And she had a big game here last year just before the All-Star game. Can't remember if it went into double overtime, but I know that the Liberty stole a game just before the All-Star break. They went to Chicago for the All-Star break, and then they went to New York for back-to-back games. Sabrina loves playing in Las Vegas. She always has ever since her sophomore year in Oregon. She came down here for a tournament, and then you had the Pac-12 tournament here. What's crazy is the year that Oregon should have been in the national championship, should have won the whole thing, was the COVID year when everything got canceled. I mean, everybody knew it was their tournament to lose. I watched her cut down the nets for Oregon. This is something that she has been relishing in terms of just, her WNBA career and just waiting for is this season. She has the components around her. So I think this is a game where she's going to, she's always stepped up big in her career, no matter when it's been, college or in now with the Liberty. So I sort of put the onus on her tonight because in the same respect as you asked before about the Aces, with Courtney Vandersloot looking for Bree Stewart and looking to drive and kick down low, she can fire off to Sabrina Ionescu. If the Aces collapse toward the action in the key and Sabrina's left for just a split second and there's an opening for her to drain from even a mid-range jumper, she's going to have a big night tonight. She loves to light up Las Vegas. So I look for her to have a big game.
Looking forward to this matchup tonight, the Liberty and the Aces. That's a 9:00 tip, and that's on Amazon Prime. Is that right?
I believe it is a Prime game.
I believe it is. So, Willie, before we let you go, as you look at the standings in the West going forward, I mean, is there anybody that can put any pressure on the Aces for the top spot? Do you think there's anybody that's going to emerge the rest of the way?
I don't know if anybody's going to challenge the Aces for the West Division title, but the team that you should watch coming out of the Western Conference when it's all said and done is the Los Angeles Sparks. the roster that was assembled, and the fact that they have Kurt Miller they brought over from Connecticut last year, right? In assembling this team, they have a very, very seasoned team, a lot of talent on this team, starting with Nneka Ogwumike, Jordan Canada. She plays at both ends of the court. She's incredible on defense. Lexi Brown, I've been saying since last All-Star break, I have said that Lexi Brown, this was going to be her breakout year. She had some injuries, so she sat out a couple of games last week, I believe, or the week before, but she has come up big for them. I think that she's going to win the three-point shootout, by the way, in the All-Star break this year. She was denied to get in because Allie Quigley wanted to she was a late entry into the three-point shootout last year, and that was in her hometown. Well, she was a member of the Chicago Sky, and she ended up winning it. Mm-hmm. So I think that Lexi in the second half of the season is going to come out of the All-Star break and really shine for the Sparks. And I look for them to make a run. I look for them to make a run into the postseason. They have other players. They have, like I said, the Ogwumike sisters. Carly Samuelson's having a productive year. De'Erica Hamby, she's a two-time Sixth Woman of the Year. She now has a WNBA title. So there's a lot of determination, a lot of experience, and they have Kurt coaching them. That's the team that I would say to watch for in the West. Again, they are sitting, I believe, 6 games back of the Aces. So I don't think they're at 7-8. And the Aces are 13-1. So they're 6.5 back. I don't think anybody's going to catch the Aces, but I do think that the Sparks could get into the postseason and cause a little disruption for some teams.
Willie Ramirez covers the Las Vegas Aces for the Associated Press out of Las Vegas. Joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Willie, we really appreciate your insight and look forward to catching back up with you here as the season progresses, talking a little bit more WNBA.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Be glad to join you, and be safe out there with those thunderstorms.
Yeah, thank you, man. We appreciate it. We're going to try to keep our heads down. Hey, let's take a quick break, Justin, and come back and wrap this thing up with a couple of notes. So join us here in a couple of seconds here on Main Street Sports Today.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely. And apparently what we got here in Franklin a little bit ago has now made it to Pulaski. Wade, you going to make it?
We're hanging in there. I'm looking out the window and I'm getting my rowboat ready, partner.
There you go. There you go. Hey, seek higher ground, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And, man, fun segment with Willie there. A big, in these summer months especially, outside of MLB, seems like we're kind of lacking for big events. But tonight is about as big of a marquee event in terms of WNBA that you're going to find in the regular season.
Absolutely. I mean, if you are a sports fan, I think it would behoove you to find where Amazon Prime is on your viewing options, and check this out at 9 o'clock. Because I mean, again, the Aces coming off of a WNBA championship last year, 13-1 to this point, and really rolling. And the Liberty, maybe just from a talent for talent standpoint, maybe about the only team in the WNBA that can rival what the Aces have put together. So I think this one's going to be, must see TV, relatively speaking, as you said, especially for midsummer. So looking forward to this one. Wade, we've talked about college baseball a lot here in the past few days, and specifically college baseball and the transfer portal and the University of Tennessee. Chase Burns is headed to destination unknown, but the Vols seem to have bounced back through the transfer portal as they have picked up a catcher from North Carolina State, Cannon Peebles. And is there a better name for a catcher than Cannon? And
that was immediately what I thought. That's as good as it gets, partner.
That it really is. And then they've got a pitcher, Nate Snead from Wichita State, who will be transferring in after putting together a big freshman year for the Shockers. So, I don't know if it's a rich get richer kind of thing or what, but, I don't want to underplay Chase Burns' importance to this UT team as the year progressed, but I think they're going to be okay. So,
yeah, and I was just getting ready to say, obviously you never want to see some of your top talent depart, but on an optimistic viewpoint, there's no one saying that you can't go out and get somebody just as good or some talent of your own, and it looks like Tennessee has done just that. And you add Cannon, you add Nate, and who knows what else. I mean, it seems like we're kind of just getting cranked up in terms of that silly season right now for that.
Oh, for sure. We're less than a week removed from the end of the baseball season. I mean, Monday night was the final game of the College World Series. So, yeah, like you said, silly season just kind of getting started as far as that goes. Going to be a lot of movement and a lot of old faces in new places and the like. So, should be worth keeping an eye on. And I believe we've lost Wade. That's unfortunate. We were just getting into some good stuff too. But yeah. Wanted to mention, and I had this earlier in the week and lost it, the Learfield Directors Cup, which is kind of an all sports trophy that is presented across college athletics, with the final collegiate contest being decided Monday night. They wrapped up the compilations for the Learfield Directors Cup Top 25. And like I said, I saw that somewhere earlier in the week, and now I can't find it, but I do know that Tennessee was ranked number 6 in that. I think Florida was 5th and Georgia was 7th. So again, each of your sports and how they finish are weighted and points are given, and UT 6th in the country across all athletics. So I think that there are 8 SEC teams in the top 25. So maybe it does just mean more. The Directors Cup, which recognizes all sports excellence. Yeah. Florida 5, Tennessee 6, Georgia 7, and LSU 9. Interesting how that comes about when you consider that, again, LSU has 2 national championships on the year in women's basketball and in baseball, and Georgia won the football national championship. So I guess it's good to have depth. SEC schools won 8 national championships across all sports in 22-23. Arkansas men's indoor track and field, Arkansas women's indoor track and field, Florida men's golf, Florida men's track, and as we mentioned, Georgia football, LSU baseball, and women's basketball, and Vanderbilt bowling. So, Alabama, number 12 in the top 25, Arkansas 13, Kentucky 18, and Texas A&M 24. And the Southeastern Conference was the only conference to have all of its members in the top 60 of the final Directors' Cup standings. So, interesting stuff there. It's not just about round balls, I guess, in the SEC. That's going to do it here for the Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today. Sorry we have to finish up without Wade, but hopefully we'll have him back tomorrow. I'm Maurice Patton. Be sure and join us again at 2 o'clock. This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint.